Chakraborti, let me come to you. What is the objection that the Congress party is raising on the Sengol? Because this happened when the Congress received power at the hands of the British at the time of independence, and the first anointed Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, received it. There was an elaborate ceremony. It was handed over to Lord Mountbatten first, then to him. So why are you trying to suggest that it isn't important or isn't significant?
So it is, good evening to all your viewers firstly, and secondly, it is not about whether we are trying to undermine the significance or whether we are trying to suggest otherwise. We are simply stating that going by historical references and the documentation that we have, it is not amply evident. Even in your panel, there has been a disagreement as whether this was indeed a symbol for transfer of power. That's number one.
So what is the point that you're coming at? Once again,
about whether it's a symbol of transfer
once again, what I want to understand, Mita ji, what I want to understand is that by harping on that point, that it is not well documented whether this was a symbol of transfer of power, what is the point you're getting at?
If you give me some uninterrupted time, I'll try and explain. So firstly, my point is that there are not enough historical evidences which documents whether it was indeed a transfer of power or not. Secondly, one of my co-panelists talked about that this should mean, this should imply, this should stand for just and inclusive governance. Now, my point is, on the day of inauguration, not one or two, not half a dozen, not a dozen, but as many as 20 opposition political parties have decided to boycott this particular ceremony because the president, the first citizen to whom the parliament rightfully belonged to as per the constitution, Article 79, was sidelined and was not invited to be part of this inauguration. Now, what do these 20 opposition political parties represent? As per the 2019 general election data, they represent 60% of the popular mandate. BJP and BJP-led NDA scored less than 40%, which means 60% of people voted for one of these 20 opposition parties who are staying away. So when we talk about just and inclusive governance, your ceremony is staying away from 60% people's mandate.
Ma'am, I've discussed that as far as the battle over the boycott of the parliament inauguration is concerned. We've discussed that for the last few days. I want to focus on the Sengol issue today. I want to ask you one more time. What is it that the Congress party wants to tell the public when it says that this Sengol was not meant as a symbol of transfer of power? So what does that mean?
As far as our historical references are concerned, we have not seen any particular conclusive evidence which says that it was meant to be a symbol for transfer of power.
So it should be considered what? A mere walking stick?
There is a much bigger point that the temple of democracy, parliament, a place that was meant for debate, discussion and dissent, is now being sidelined to a place where we are only emphasizing on event management. I know our Prime Minister believes in having large events where he is the star of attraction. So congratulations to him. But bear in mind that in this even managed event, 60% of people's mandate and their representatives
All right, let me go across to Narayan Thirupathy of the BJP as well.
That this democracy, the temple of democracy is being undermined. We can have big gala events, we can have big
Mita ji, please yield. I want to go across to Narayan Thirupathy of the BJP as well. Narayan Thirupathy, the Congress is insisting that you have embroidered facts. You have embroidered facts to drum beat and somehow, attached a piece of history to the Sengol, which was not originally meant to be so.
No, see, as Mr. Sriram Seshadri had said, it's not only the Times magazine. Dominic Lapierre and Larry Collins in 1975, they have written a book. You can note that, Dominic Lapierre and Larry Collins. And it was that book was translated by the leftists, Mr. Raghavan and one Mr. Maile Balu. They have translated it. And in that translation, you can see in the 344th page, it's very, very clearly written about the entire episode. Not only that, they have given this Sengol, how they took that Sengol to Mr. Nehru's place and how they handed it over to him. And you have got in our reference, I have got one Mr. N. Ilango. This is the book. In this book, it is told as 100 years of India's story. It is very clearly written how they have transferred it. So, why I am telling you is that even in Tamil Nadu, we have seen that the Tamil Nadu, more than for centuries, thousands of years, it is the practice. And it is very clear that Mr. Rajaji had instructed or had advised the then Prime Minister, Mr. Nehru, to accept this. In fact, in the book written by Dominic Lapierre and Larry Collins, they have very clearly stated that though Mr. Nehru was an atheist, he acknowledged this, accepted it, because for the welfare of the country. That means Mr. Nehru wanted the country to be well, but now these Congress people, they don't want. And I think it is anti-Tamil. They don't want to give credit to Tamils. That is what the Congress is doing. See, I am a proud Tamilian now today that from my town, this has happened and it is going to be decorated again in the
Okay,
parliament.
fair enough. Fair enough. I want to